What is the value of the expression 3 squared plus 12 divided by 3 multiplied by 4? Which option do you think is the correct answer to this question? 90% of people get to read and choose the wrong answer. Let's go step by step and solve it together. To solve this question, many people start by calculating 3 squared first, and instead of the original expression, they rewrite it as 9 plus 12 divided by 3 multiplied by 4. And the next step, they usually perform the addition between 9 and 12 and simplify this expression to 21 divided by 3 multiplied by 4. Then they proceed by doing the division between 21 and 3, which gives them 7 multiplied by 4. And finally, they multiply 7 by 4, which ends up with the answer 28. Then, without any hesitation, they quickly say that option D is the correct answer to this question. But I have to say we're too rigged and it's not the correct answer to this question. Also, some other people when solving this question first go for the expression 3 squared and they simplify to 9 plus 12 divided by 3 multiplied by 4. And the next step, they usually go for the multiplication between 3 and 4 because they think multiplication has priority over division. So, they rewrite this expression as 9 plus 12 divided by 12. Next, they perform the division between 12 and 12 since they believe division has priority over addition. And they rewrite this expression as 9 plus 1, which ultimately gives them the answer 10. And immediately, they conclude that option B is the correct answer to this question. However, this answer is absolutely wrong. Alright, now let me walk you through step by step how to solve this expression properly. To solve this question, we must follow the PEMDAS rule. We should perform these operations exactly in order from top to bottom step by step. Alright, as you can see in the image and this expression, first we have an exponent, then an addition sign, followed by a division, and finally a multiplication. We should start with the exponent, because in this expression, exponent has a higher priority than the other operations. So, this expression simplifies to 9 plus 12 divided by 3 multiplied by 4. And the next step, we need to handle the division and multiplication, since multiplication and division have higher priority than addition. However, it's really important to understand that multiplication and division have equal precedence. In this situation, the best thing to do is to start from the left side of the expression and move toward the right, performing division and multiplication in order. So, first we perform the division between 12 and 3, and this expression simplifies to 9 plus 4 multiplied by 4. In the final step, we do the multiplication between 4 and 4, which gives us 9 plus 16. And finally, the value of this expression is equal to 25. That's great. Option C is the correct answer to this question. Alright, now let's solve another tricky math question together. What is the value of the expression 21 divided by 3 multiplied by open parenthesis 5 plus 2 close parenthesis? Which option do you think is the correct answer to this question? Let's take a closer look and solve it together. And the first step, most people start by solving the expression inside the parentheses and replace it with 21 divided by 3 multiplied by 7. And the next step, they go for the multiplication between 3 and 7 because they think multiplication has priority over division. So, this expression simplifies to 21 divided by 21, which finally gives them the answer 1. And immediately, they quickly say that option A is the correct answer to this question. However, that's definitely wrong. As you can see in the image and this expression, first we have a division sign, followed by a multiplication sign, and finally parentheses. To solve this question, we need to use the PEMDAS rule. PEMDAS shows us the priority of the order of operations. So, we start with the parentheses first, because it has the highest priority than the other operations. Okay, this expression simplifies to 21 divided by 3 multiplied by 7. Now, it's time to simplify this expression. It's very important to note that in the PEMDAS rule, multiplication and division have exactly the same level of priority. In this case, all we need to do is to start from the rest of the expression and move step by step toward the right. So, first we perform the division between 21 and 3, which simplifies this expression to 7 multiplied by 7. And finally, the value of this expression will be 49. Therefore, option D is the correct answer to this question. What is the value of the expression 70 plus open parenthesis 6 minus 1 close parenthesis divided by 5 multiplied by 7 minus 5 inside the parenthesis? Which option do you think is the correct answer to this question? Let's dive in and break down step by step together. Many people, when solving this question, go straight to the first parenthesis and simplify this expression to 70 plus 5 divided by 5 multiplied by 7 minus 5 inside the parenthesis. And the next step, they go to the addition between 70 and 5 and simplify this expression to 75 divided by 5 multiplied by 7 minus 5 inside the parenthesis. Then, they perform the division between 75 and 5 and write this expression as 15 multiplied by 7 minus 5 inside the parenthesis. And the final step, they go to the expression inside the parenthesis and simplify to 15 multiplied by 2, which eventually gives them the answer 30. Then, without any hesitation, they quickly say that option B is the correct answer to this question. However, it's not the correct answer to this question. Also, some other people when solving this question first go to the expressions inside both parentheses and simplify to 70 plus 5 divided by 5 multiplied by 2. And the next step, they go to the multiplication between 5 and 2 because they believe multiplication has priority over division. So, they simplify this expression to 70 plus 5 divided by 10. And the final step, they perform the division between 5 and 10 because they say division has a higher priority than addition. So, they rewrite this expression as 70 plus 0.5, which ultimately gives them the answer 70.5. And immediately, they conclude that option C is the correct answer to this question. However, that's definitely wrong. Alright, now let me show you how to solve this expression correctly. To solve this question, we must follow the PEMDAS rule step by step. And this rule, P stands for parentheses, E stands for exponent, M stands for multiplication, D stands for division, A stands for addition, and S stands for subtraction. We have to follow the order of operations exactly in order from top to bottom. Okay, as you can see in the image, and this expression, first we have an addition sign, then parentheses, followed by a division sign, after that we have a multiplication, and finally another parentheses. We must start with the parentheses first, because they have the highest priority than the other operations. So, this expression simplifies to 70 plus 5 divided by 5 multiplied by 2. And the next step, we move on to the division and multiplication, because multiplication and division have higher priority than addition. However, it's really important to understand that multiplication and division have exactly the same level of priority. In this situation, the best approach is to start from the left and move toward the right, performing these two operations in order. So, we begin with the division between 5 and 5, and instead of this expression, we can write 70 plus 1 then times 2. And the final step, we handle the multiplication between 1 and 2, and this expression simplifies to 70 plus 2, which finally gives us the answer 72. That's great. Option D is the correct answer to this question.